Let me try. Oh, here we go.
Shut up.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Social Media News Live. We had some tech issues, so hopefully we'll get through the show today. We would love it if you would do us a big favor and sprinkle the love across the internets, because this is going to be a fabulous show today. I've got one of my, I've stalked him for a long time. He's been on the show before. He is super smart. Doc Rock is here with us today. We're going to have a great time. So make sure as we're going along that you ask your questions down below, and because we want to make this show all about and for you. So just ask your questions. If you have thought about creating membership, this is the show to ask. So, Grace, how are you doing today? You look consternated.
I'm happy to be here. I'm barely I barely made it because of internet issues. So
I know.
beautiful. It's beautiful to be here though. But you makes it so easy. The
Yes.
hardest part was like trying to get on here. Then once I got on here, it's beautiful. So
Yes.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have Doc with us too. It's super early for him,
Right.
and it's not in the way of the volcano, so that's good.
Oh, that's right. Doc, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. It's been like running around getting ready, starting a new project for the beginning of the year,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to take like the last 2 weeks off and go to Japan, which is like my happy
Oh,
spot.
wow.
So like super excited about that.
That is very
It's going to be
cool. Do you have family there, or just go for fun?
well. I went to college there,
Oh.
and my other half, they're Okinawan, so it's not really Japan. I know people in this country don't know that; they get it mixed up. Japan kind of stole their stuff, so they're not super stoked about it. And then we had it for a little bit, but then we gave it back to Japan in 1972.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's funny because when I go there, like Kara's mom can speak the native tongue of Okinawa, which is Shurigo or like Hogan, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I speak Japanese, but so she doesn't really speak Japanese. But when you look at them, everybody tries to talk to them, they can't understand anything. I'm the one that's fluent, so I'm the translator.
Wow.
So it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to go there and mess with people.
And so, my wife's cousin stayed over in Japan, and he's a translator. I think he still works for Honda, but it's a tough language. That's pretty impressive. I'm even more impressed now, Doc, with you than I was before, and that was hard to do. So, anyway, let's go ahead. I'm gonna hit go on the podcast machine, and we'll get started. Once again, everybody, ask your questions as we're going along, and we'll try to bring them up during the show today. So here we go.
I got Amazon ready to go today, Jeff. Let's see
Okay.
if this
All right.
works out.
It's starting to stream, so we'll see if it works. So, welcome to Social Media News Live. I'm Jeff C, and you're not.
And I'm Grace Duffy, and this is the show that keeps you up to date on what is happening in the world of social media and I'd say digital marketing. Today, we have Doc Rock with us, and he just launched a new course, and he's also had some longstanding membership communities. We're going to talk to him about both of those things. We're going to talk about why you should consider launching your own membership community or course, how to launch one of your own, what platforms we use, what format, how do you keep that content fresh and that your members engage. And then we're also going to talk about how you go about promoting it, getting members to join it, and make it thrive. So we're excited to have you here today.
Yes, and if you don't know Doc Rock, we're going to introduce him because he is amazing. He is a thinker. He's a creator, a candlestick maker. No, he's just a maker. He's a YouTuber, a trainer, speaker, podcaster, moderator, designer, and a whole lot more. He is personally on a mission to positively touch 1 billion people's lives by collaborating and sharing stories and ideas. And I have seen him do this as long as I know him. He is the community manager at Ecamm Network, the sponsor of the show. And last year, Doc founded the Let's Get Live community, which has helped provide rapidly expanding platform for people to help one another, to learn and grow together. It's an amazing community. He's an amazing person. I'm so happy that he is back on the show with us today.
Yay!
I'm so stoked to have you. So today we asked you to be on the show because we wanted to talk about this new course. We wanted to give you a chance to talk about it, tell our audience about it, so we can kind of set that platform so we're for the rest of our discussion. So talk to us about this course of yours that you have on Kajabi.
Okay, so I've been in radio for a while before I got into the whole streaming thing, and One of the things that I love the most about radio is back, during that period, like the heyday of what was sort of the hip hop heyday, which was around early '90s to like '98. I was, doing lots of shows, and we had a lot of concerts here, so I got to interview tons and tons and tons of people. And my boss was a real stickler about like doing interviews that wouldn't be the same old cliche interviews. So, for instance, if I was to interview Mariah Carey, I would not ask her a single thing about All I Want for Christmas Is You. Why? Because everybody asks her that. And that's just the audience already knows all of that stuff. Everybody knows this number one Christmas song. Everybody knows, like, the people who helped her work on it, whatever. She's given that answer about 50, 1100 times. So he was like, come up with something better, more fun. It's not about digging deeper or catching a gotcha, if you will, unless that's something that that person would be happy to share. Like you guys know me, you can ask me anything. I'm gonna go in, right?
Hmm.
But if I know that my person is a little afraid or standoffish or whatever, there's a way the host can make them feel comfortable. And normally you can tell you've been to these shows where maybe the guest started out a little quiet, a little apprehensive. By the end of the show, the ghost. Oh, double check. The host is, I mean, the guest is animated and like throwing all the fire, and the audience is like, whoop, whoop, whoop. Everybody's super happy. That's when you know the host did a fantastic job with the interview. I, working in my job now, I get to see so many people doing amazing interviews, having guests come on, and they can't squeeze a single drip of water out of a 40-gallon tank of water. And I'm like, I think I can fix that. I think I can help people learn how to interview better. And so that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do it, not just for the host themselves, but even to teach them, because the best thing a streamer or anyone else can do to grow their show is be a guest on other shows.
Hmm.
I have this friend, and I was on his show last year, and I swear he tweets about me every day. And I appreciate that because my Twitter following is growing. My other following is growing thanks to Jeff, because Jeff tweets it over and over again. So, like, hey, people, you don't know if you're trying to grow your show, come on this show because Jeff knows what he's doing, right? And Grace, right? They know what they're doing, and they ask good questions, and they make you feel good. It's like we were hanging out at the restaurant in Texas, Grace, and singing Aretha Franklin, you know. So that's when you know it's a good interview, right?
Right.
And I really think I can help people get to that and help them shake the dust off of some of this.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, and I did some digging. I looked at your course. You told me when you launched it, and I wanted to ask a question because you also run this peak performance squad kind of membership group. And can you tell us kind of what that is and how it works?
Okay, so my membership group is called the Drop Squad, and I just needed something that sounded good,
Mm.
so I came up with Talk Rock Performers, and it was because I deal with a lot of streamers all the time, but I also get this group of folk who mean it. Like, I really want to do this. I'm going in, I'm working my face off, and I want to make sure that I can provide the best value. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'll take you under my wing and I'll show you what I know. And I think part of it had to do with I could not absolutely complete my mission by myself. It's worldly impossible. I can't
Hmm.
positively impact the last billion people by myself. But I remember the Fabergé commercial when I was a little kid, right? So if I can help two streamers and they can help two streamers and so
Right.
on and so on and so on, then next thing you know, we all look like Heather Locklear and we're killing it. So that's
Aw-
sort of what started it.
Awesome. So the question, and because I've been digging into this because I'm trying to decide about launching community and some other things just personally for my
Man.
business. But can you tell me why you chose Buy Me a Coffee over Patreon?
In the beginning, yes, I'm actually getting rid of the Buy Me a Coffee this year. But in the
Okay.
beginning, I chose Buy Me a Coffee over Patreon because Patreon was a little clunky. I had Patreon actually, and like things as a smaller creator, someone just starting out. Actually, I don't like the word small creator. Let me take that back. As a creator just starting out, when you do Patreon, you were waiting like 90 days before you could ever even see a single stitch of the money, right? So if you came
Hmm.
out of the gate and you had 100 patrons, you had 90 days before they would give you a drip of it.
Right.
And a lot of times the people that are doing this from a monetization standpoint, they're doing it because they need to.
Right.
Buy Me a Coffee was set up in the manner that if you're using Stripe, it was almost the same day. If you're using PayPal, it was like 2 days later.
Right.
Where Buy Me a Coffee ran into some trouble, and it's not that they're a bad service, they're a fantastic service, but they lost their thing with PayPal for some reason. And then they kind of got so big real quick because it was really helpful. They kind of lost their way. I know that the Sunny and the guys down there running it, they're doing a great job of trying to get everything together. But I just found after I started this Kajabi thing, it's a lot easier. So I might move it into Kajabi. If not, I have Uscreen too, thanks to Rob Buddy.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I might just leave it there. Right now, I'm currently running it through Ustream, and that's at creatorcoach.live.
Cool. Awesome. So we have some great comments, some people stopping by. It's great to see Mia Voss. She's been, oh gosh, since the beginning, and I'm going to say it for Chris Stone's sake, since Google Plus. Mia and I have been connected. She goes, still the best intro, and you're not. Yes, we've been using that for a while. Mia, thank you so much for joining us. And Katie says, I don't know that Doc makes candles. That was my joke, Katie. So yeah, thank you for picking up on that. And she also says, Kajabi is the bomb. I know a lot of people who have said the exact same thing. They really, really, really like Kajabi. So thank you, Katie, for stopping by today. I do want to do a big shout out to our sponsors, and not just because Doc is here, but want a big shout out to Ecamm, the sponsors of the show. You can find out more about them at socialmedianewslive.com/Ecamm. They're what makes this show possible. But I have some really great news that Katie told me to talk about was that Ecamm 4.0 is beta testing right now. It's going to be incredible. It includes multi-streaming, up to 10 guests, isolated video. That is huge, folks. Isolated video. And a new camera switcher, among other things. You can try that if you go to ecamm.com/beta if you want to be on the cutting edge and see what's going on. And also, Vlogmas started December 1st, and they're doing weekly challenges in the community and on Discord. You can tune into Ecamm News Now each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern to get the week's challenge. So, Doc, I'm sure you're all up in that too, as well.
Actually, this year I didn't do Vlogmas, and that's
Oh,
because I was spending the last 2 weeks of the year in Kyoto.
okay.
And unless everybody wants all their videos in Japanese, no.
They might.
Awesome.
I mean, they might. Not
Yes, right.
saying no
I'm
to
like,
that, right?
you know what I'm saying? Doc des, Kyoto live stream no koto ga nan desu ka? Yeah, people be like, what?
That's crazy,
Your
man.
descriptor is gonna go crazy trying to translate that. Katie hates when I speak Japanese on the flow. She's like, the script just goes blah.
I know. Oh, it's also funny because they're like when Ian's on, sometimes it has a little trouble with accents. So it's always fun to have to go train it a little bit. But all right. So first section, we're talking about launching a course. So Grace, take us away. You got some great stats.
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone, people watching us live, drop in your questions. If you're interested on the cusp, thinking about maybe, I don't know, looking for something different for this coming year, looking for something to help promote and help take your brand to the next level, drop your questions here about launching course or membership site, because we are going to talk about the why behind it, then we're going to talk about the how. So online courses and memberships are one of the best ways for creators like us to level up and generate some additional income from their well-earned expertise and knowledge. And there's a reason why a lot of brands are hopping on the chance to launch their own membership communities. Subscriptions have exploded in popularity over the last couple of years. Not surprising, since we had that little thing where we were stuck inside and didn't
Right.
and video online courses, everything just virtually exploded. But not but it didn't stop there, because projections show that paid subscriptions are looking to grow by 50% by 2025, which is not actually that far away, to $3 million in the US alone. So that is a significant revenue pie. We already know that there's a lot of companies jumping in on this. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, it's a lot of work, and to get all the content out there and to sell it, so overwhelming. But on the other hand, you have the expertise that people are willing to pay to learn. So we've invited Doc here to talk about both of these things, and we wanted to take us to the finish line. Doc, if someone is just like, I don't know, I'm kind of on the edge, like, what are we going to say to them to get them like to that next level of like encouraging them, believing in them, helping them on the why? Why should we create a course or membership site?
Okay, so the most important one is you do not do what I did. I poo-pooed it for like a year and a half. From way back, Stephanie told me, Evie told me, Kelly, Millinor, blah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
No, God damn it. You know what I'm saying.
Kelly Maribello, yes.
Thank you. Why my tongue is got stuck behind this caffeine, I don't know. Anyway, everyone told me to do this, and then like Dinah's my best friend, and Dinah was like, dude, you really need to stop. And for me, my first challenge was I have seen the people who every 5 seconds it seems like every other word was course, or
Right.
they would be like, well, I know the answer to this question, but I can't tell you, but it's in my course, and if you sign up for a course, I'll tell you, I kind of just that gives me the oogies, especially since I know they got the information from the internet or from me. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be that person. But one day, uh, I was out, and I think we were in Dallas, and I was talking to somebody, and I heard this nugget, and the nugget was really, really good. And they said, you could give the information for free, just give it away, but put the implementation in the course and then sell that. And then you're not worried about being that person who's like not wanting to help people because it's hiding behind your course. And that kind of resonated with me finally. And then somebody else has told me, you're going to run out of ability to do the things you want to do if you don't put yourself in a position to monetize what you're doing, right? And being a person who fully invested into the ikigai mentality, especially it's an Okinawan thing, and the whole world likes to say it's a Japanese thing, and the whole world likes to pronounce it wrong and call it ikigai, which hurts my face. It's ikigai, e as in good, ki as in life, gai as in way, good life way. Sorry, Japanese major people, deal with me. I was like, I got to do this. I really, really got to do this. And it was when we were at Podcast Movement, and I watched professional podcasters do a crappy interview.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, man, all the good interviews are happening in our booth. At least everybody in our booth knows what they're doing. But the rest of these people might need some help. So I was like, okay, it'd be an absolute a-hole move for me to keep that information to myself and not share it with other people. That's actually more of an a-hole move than being afraid to launch a course because you didn't think you would, provide the right value and continue to help people for free. So that's why.
So I want to kind of dive deeper into that and ask, okay, you mentioned you give it away from free, but the implementation is inside your course. Can you kind of give it like a deeper example of what you mean by that? So, because Jay Bear has a quote, and I use it all the time. He says, just because everybody has the ingredients doesn't make them a chef. And I think that's what you're showing them how to put it together inside of the course. So can you kind of go deeper a little bit on that?
Well, yeah, I figured you just said sort of the analogy I would use, right? We would always have things like, Emerald Lagasse or other chefs come on and show you this stuff on TV, and you would see it real quick. But if you wanted to know how to do it, you needed to go to CIA or something and literally sit there with the chef and learn how to do it correctly. Like if you want to know how to really, really flip a French omelet, yeah, it requires some work. And I'm telling you what, I'd probably pay $1,000 to spend a day and a half with Terry Black to learn how to make them damn ribs.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen it on TV. You've watched the competitions. They got it in the brine and they clean it off and they like put it on the grill a certain way and they make a little sauce. I've seen those competitions. My ribs are good, but they ain't like what I had when I was in Dallas. So like now I want to go to class, right? I want to go to class. I went to a place in Austin, Smithy's, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. I want to go to class and learn from them cats, like how to be a straight up pit boss. Like, and so that's what I mean. I hope that makes sense.
It does. And you can come to my house because I'm going to be smoking some pork butt today.
My house, we smoking something. Never mind.
Yeah. So, the question I wanted to ask too is like, the benefits of creating a membership community around your brand, and you've kind of touched on this expertise and content. A lot of people, and I'm thinking this is when you were talking about the implementation, they call it cohort courses. I know Adrian Salisbury does that kind of things where they come in and they actually work together with you and kind of hold your hand with a certain amount of people, and they go through like, okay, I'm going to build this with you together, like in a classroom. Is that what you do in your course, or do you have like
Yeah.
certain modules that you like, okay, watch this and watch this, watch this? How do you run your
No, I
course?
was doing the first one as a cohort
Uh-huh.
for the simple reason that I want to be hands-on. I want to see what's out there, and I want to see if it is viable as a recorded course. I don't think so, because I believe for this particular course in itself, it does require someone to like help, squeeze the extra juice out the onion and then get in
Mm-hmm.
there and get you learning things. And I don't think you can do that just from watching the video, because many of the people who signed up have watched a lot of interviews, and
Right.
yet they still do the mistake stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think this one might work. And if I find that it does work as a recorded situation, I'll put it there as a possibility. But I really wanted to get in there, like you said, and get the hands dirty. It just seems like more fun.
Gotcha. Well, now I'm nervous because I'm interviewing you, and I feel like I'm being graded. So I'll let Grace take this next part.
You guys are great, man. You guys are great. You know what? I'll give away a freebie. Like I said, I'll tell you all the information off the top of my head, but if you want to know how to do it, do it. Here's a pet peeve of mine. I want you to listen to interviews this whole weekend and watch when the host asks a question and then start answering the question or seeding the answer or guiding the guests. And I want to throw my TV when they do that. You're supposed to ask the question and shut up.
It's like this TV reporter's like somebody's house was just swept away by the flood, and it's like, are you feeling sad right now? Can you explain how you're feeling? I mean, like, oh my gosh, stop! Of course. Anyway, so that's a big pet
He
peeve.
knows that. So what more information or sensory information can that person give to the folks at home? Everyone would be sad if their house got swept. Don't
Right.
ask that question. Yes,
Right.
I agree, Jeff. Thank you.
All right, Grace. Sorry, this is gonna be a fun show. Go
No,
ahead.
this is too fun. I mean, we could just go on and with Doc just talking about whatever, but we do have a show. We did write questions, so you kind of alluded to this a little bit in the like earlier, where we are in the B2B digital marketing space. We are on strategists, creators, influencers all the time. We've been at all parts of the industry over our time here, and it is fraught with self-promoting talking heads, the type, who have a lot of pizzazz but not a lot of clients or a lot of actual studies, but they claim expertise. We all know the type. As I was writing this question, I was like, am I the type? Am I the drama? Is it me? I try not to be, because I do try to bring people on that actually do know what they're talking about, like you, Doc. And so, we've got these people that are pulling you into their online course, their membership consulting. You kind of alluded to this earlier, like I said, but talk to us about how you set yourself apart from these types who seem to have more style than substance, I would say, which is a nice way of saying what I want to say. Especially when it comes to marketing yourself to new people who might be new to the industry or new to this type of thing or new to this type of creating content, and but are coming to learn. So how do you set yourself apart from all that, from the hype?
You know, I will say that first of all, your question is on point, and you are not one of those people. I think you and I were both the kids that when we opened our mouth up, a light came on the side because we're cool as a refrigerator. But I will say I'm an acquired taste. I am pickle pig feet, right? I am not for everybody. And the reason for that is I will always be raw with you. I'm not the coach that's going to be like, oh, well, your feelings are important and blah, blah, blah. This is business. Your feelings ain't important. Your emotions are not important. What's important is factual. If I can see it, touch it, feel it, taste it, if it's tangible, I can help you with that. All of that woo stuff, I can't do that. It's not me. I'm a, old soldier, drill sergeant type. I'm coming in for the heat. So I think I attract the people who are really serious about growing and does not mind a size 12 Adidas in the rear if it's going to make them better and make their people better. And so I think I set myself apart because I don't hold any punches. I'm very, very raw. And the people who can handle that, they seem to love it. The people who can't, I'll tell them, hey, go to the other place or whatever. And I've actually had a person in the past who said to me, "Don't you think like you would get more students if like you were nicer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, everyone knows I'm nice, but I don't. There's a difference between nice and like being factual. It's just factual. We have way too many people that are sold on their BS, aka belief system, which is supposed to be soft and touchy and cuddly feely, and it doesn't have to be that. You can be nice and genuine, but you could also make sure that the facts are the facts,
Mm-hmm.
and things like your feelings aren't important to what we're doing. Like this
Right.
is tech, man. Tech don't have no feelings. Like it knows what
So,
it's doing.
so
So
you're making
you got to
yourself
be.
you're making yourself sound like a tyrant, and you're not, because I've seen you in the community,
I'm
and so
not.
you do it in love. So I mean, you very
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
and the reason you do it that way is because you care and you want to make people better, and you don't want to you want to cut through the junk to get to what the heart of the problem is and help people fix it and move to the next level. So I don't want you to dog on
Thank
yourself too much. So
No, I think you for saying it. You know why? When I worked at Apple, Steve told us if you have to change the light bulb more than 3 times, the average person will just keep changing light bulbs. But here at Apple, we want to know what's wrong with the lamp or what's wrong with the socket.
Yeah.
right.
We're not just going to keep throwing new light bulbs at the problem. That was one of the first things Steve Jobs taught us at Apple. Like we want to get to the root core of the problem. So since that time, I've been very much like that. I want to know what is the root cause.
Right.
Mm.
Awesome. Very, very cool. So see, now there's two people I'm connected with who worked with Steve Jobs, Guy Kawasaki and Doc Rock. So you're in good company.
And we're both from Hawaii.
That's
And
right.
Guy was one of the first people I met when I got into tech.
Oh, that's cool. That's
I
really
have
cool.
his, I have his OG book before it was published. There was such a great line in there about Bozacity, and that's why I was like, I love this guy. He's awesome.
Uh, so over the past few years, community has been a buzzword, and I mean, that's why we do the show. We love the community. We love Katie and Mia and all the other people are in here watching and over on LinkedIn and every place. I love community, and it's been a buzzword for like tech startups looking, to sell a product. If the, it's kind of based on social use, like a useful social network. So community is just kind of thrown out there because we've seen a rise in community focused startups like Clubhouse, Nextdoor, Growth Mentor, and some companies are doing really well, but others, see that consumers weren't willing to pay for fees in exchange for advice found online, quote, for free, like we've kind of been talking about. So how can we make paying for an online membership community worthwhile, valuable, and indispensable to your members? Because I see these membership gurus talking about churn rate and all this stuff, and my
Yeah.
feelings is when I start a community, I want people to be there in the long haul. Community to me isn't something you go to quickly at a buffet and just take your food and leave. You want to sit down at the table and talk and have a conversation and grow together and learn together and that kind of stuff. So how do you do that for your group, Doc?
First of all, I don't pay attention to churn rates or algorithms or all of those other words. And I know they're real and I understand that they can really help you gather good information. But if you're worried about that, you're not worried about the actual folks. What I do know is I know my people's birthdays. I know about their kids and their dogs and the favorite things that they're into. And I actually pay attention to my community members. Like I really don't care what a churn rate is. And I think that helps. So for me, I think the most important thing was before I ever turned it on, I gave so much value to the people that they were looking for a place or a way to return the favor. They were looking for a way to pay me back. And I think that is the best way to lead into building a community. I was threatened by my members before there was a community that I needed to turn it on
Mm-hmm.
because they were like, I'm tired of you giving me everything and I don't have a way to give you something back. This is really upsetting me because I don't live like that. And I'm that way. And so when DJ Strick actually did it, he called me one night and it was like it was New Year's Eve and actually, I take that back. It was right after Christmas, and we were doing a thing where we were all jumping on his stream, happy holidays type
Right.
stuff. And he told me, like, man, I'm gonna stop talking to you if you don't find a way to turn on your community or turn on the membership or give us a way to pay you because it's unfair the amount of work and effort that you put in to help everybody and you don't give us a way to pay you back. And people don't sit well like that. And I didn't
Mhm.
think about that, but I'm that way. I can't keep coming to Grace's house without bringing something. Like in our community, that's not a thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's weird. Here I am, black, half Puerto Rican, but I was raised Asian. So my mom and dad are, Korean. I show up to people's house with something. You don't come empty handed. You just don't. That's not a thing.
Right.
And so I think that's it. I think that's it. Wanting to make sure that you give them an opportunity to help you, because the thing that I can't stand right now, you talk about buzzwords, Jeff. I hate hearing the word burnout. There is no such thing as creative burnout if you're on purpose. If you're doing what
Mm.
you're doing on your purpose, on your mission, not a passion, that's a whole different subject. And in a way, it's been oversold.
Hmm.
But when you're on purpose, like you wake up every day needing to do this, you will never get burned out. Purpose is the most awesome analgesic. It's a painkiller. It's, a massage. It's a comfort blanket. Purpose is everything. Just is.
Mic drop moment there. That's really good. Thanks, Doc.
See, and we were both silent, right? We were both
That's right. It's
silent,
like
just in awe. This is
uh,
this is the magic of Doc.
tweetable
So
moment. Yeah, go ahead.
yes, it is a tweetable moment. So, Doc, do you think that membership communities, because I mean, we're focused on growth and thriving and getting people in, but do you think that they should have a cap? And this might be more applicable to groups, Facebook groups, online groups, than it is maybe on a membership community. But we have seen in our history that there are groups that just get too big, right? They get too big, unmanageable, they get unwieldy. And so when do you know when you should cap it or limit it? You talked about building your course around cohorts. And I mean, the first question a lot of people is like, oh, we have this great thing. How do we make it scale? But do we need to make it scale? Like, where are the limits? Help us with figure that out.
Okay, so what I did for my community at first is for the baseline community, there is no cap. But I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't be just me saying all the stuff that I do. That would get old real quick. So I created a couple different levels. I had this secret squirrel level that's like 7 of the people that are like heavy hitters, right? They
Right.
just do everything. They work really hard or whatever. And then I have my gold group, which is my highest performers, and then I have a bronze group. I don't have a silver because it's too many steps. I
Mm.
want you to know that if I after bronze, you're ready for gold, right? And the my secret squirrel group was originally capped at the original 7 and it was going to stay at the original 7, and I can't add anybody to that 7, only they can,
Mm.
which is amazing, right? And so you know all of these people, and you can tell because they're like, "Oh, that's Doc's people." So when we go to Podcast Movement, there's Big Rich. Big Rich is there, Keely is there.
Hmm.
Silverline and Home Place, Dina is there, Rob Voss, like the heavy hitters. These are the guys that are working really, really towards everything they do. Michelle Lawrence, and so if I can't be somewhere for whatever reason, I'm on the road, I'm traveling, or do whatever. Any one of the 6 of those, Alec Johnson will just run the class, right? And everybody knows that they are like deputies, if you will, if I'm gonna be the sheriff, right?
Hmm.
So
Right.
everybody knows that deputies can run a thing. And I think you have to do that. I think you have to put yourself in a position where you are training some people to be at the same level you are. So they're your contemporaries, because that way you can expand the group and get to more people. If you have something that good to share or that good to teach, yeah, you're gonna run out if you're by yourself, and you think it take it back all the way to like, karate school, right? The original masters, they had to build dojos where their students, their people graduate and open their own dojos. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the worldwide sport that it is. It'd be still stuck in Okinawa.
Mm. So it sounds like me those 7 that you're talking about are almost a mastermind. It sounds like
Yeah.
it's just it's another
I
word
hate that
for
word.
but it is. I mean, that's what it is. It sounds like
You hate that
It is
word? No,
actually
no, no. We gotta explore. You hate that word? Is that what you said?
why do you hate it?
Yeah, absolutely hate that word. There was, in a way, there was these terminologies that people used a lot, and I've been in quote unquote masterminds that I've been invited to, and not a single person was master anything. They just, they just if you can buy your way into a mastermind group, it could be just a label. I'm not going to say any bad, but normally it's not going to work, right? a mastermind group requires that you have something to bring to the table as well as them, and you guys are going to work cohesively and work together, and that's a whole different situation. So it's just a terminology, and I like to fix words because words is how our brain works, words is how we think, and if we say words wrong, or just in a manner that doesn't have the meaning that you want it to have, you behave differently. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of don't like that word because I've been to the B&I lunches where everybody is really just trying to make you buy something from them, not they're designed to help each other out. And I'm like, yo, I can't do this. And I've been to B&Is, which are dope. So if you're going to do it in a B&I, it kind of matters on the other people in your spot, right? So yeah, I don't know. I hate words like burnout and mastermind and whatever.
Well,
You need to
Jeff
move
and
to
I
East. You need to move to East Texas, and that way you can fix all the words here. Like, did you? Did
Oh
you?
my God.
Did you bring your truck with you? Did you? So there you go.
Oh my God. We'll definitely talk about this quite a bit, where like there's just certain words in our language that have meaning and we know what it means, and then they quickly become into the buzzword trap. And it doesn't mean that they don't mean what they're supposed to mean, but when they get into buzzword land, that's when you're just like, so totally understand what you're saying, where there's the word and what it means, and then there's people that use it.
Yeah.
You know what I really hate, which everybody tells me to stop hating it because it's not a bad word, but I think just so many people use it wrong that I don't like the word funnel. I'm gonna get
Ah,
you to the top of my funnel. Funnel is violent, fam. Like I don't want to get there and then spiral down and get spit out the bottom. No, that just sounds violent. And if you go into thinking that you're treating your people that way, you're not going to give them everything you need to give them because your brain does what you say it does. And so a funnel
yeah.
is designed to come in at the top, spiral you violently, and spit you out the end. I'll use ecosystem.
Mm.
I want to
I'll
get
just.
you in my ecosystem. You're
I'll,
not coming out.
I'll just say, hey, come into my vortex. That's what I want.
That feels even more violent, Jeff.
I'm sorry. I grew up in Kansas, so we saw those all the time. Yeah. Alrighty. So something that's not violent and is amazing and is scalable and there's no cap on it is our sponsor, Ecamm. I'm seriously, they have the best community that you could want to join if you want to live stream, if you want to up your presentations, if you want to up your podcast. There's just so much stuff Ecamm can do, but it's a great tool. Don't get me wrong, but the community, I seriously, there's nothing like it. It is amazing. Doc is in charge of that. You can tell his passion for community and teaching. And if you aren't in it and you have Ecamm, you need to get in it because it's amazing. You can find out more at socialmedianewslive.com/Ecamm. If you've never tried it before, you need to because it is a fabulous program and even a better community. So make sure to check them out. socialmedianewslive.com/Ecamm. Now we're going to go into what I think you've already done or you're still in the middle of, Doc, is we're going to be talking about launching this membership, right? So we found this quote online, or Grace found this quote, and it's the best way to start a successful community is to build the one you need yourself. And this was Allison Medina. She's the founder and CEO of Tech Ladies, the largest community of women in tech. So I thought that was a great quote that Grace found. But, we want to talk about the how of building membership community online, starting with what platforms and technologies are available to help you build one. I mean, Katie already mentioned she loves Kajabi. There's hundreds of membership platforms to consider. I've tested a lot of them myself. But what do we need to consider or think about when it comes to selecting a membership platform? Is there any that you personally recommend?
At the beginning, I liked what was going on with Buy Me a Coffee. I hope they can get their act back together. They have a competitor called Kofi, which is good. Patreon is good. I just recently discovered Samcart.
Mm-hmm.
Samcart's a little cheaper. It's only like $59 a month, I believe. And how I found them was super funny. They they took one of my streams and they roasted me, and it was hilarious. But it was really good. It was very valuable information. Like they called it a takeover, and they were showing you where people like me are leaving money on the table as a creator and how you could expand. I think the cool thing right now, I believe Christmas, Samcard is like $40 a month. So it's a good way to dive in if you're going to go in locally. But you should just do it. And the thing that messed me up with Kajabi, because way back then, all of the aforementioned people I said, they all said, oh, jump with Kajabi. And I was like, man, I don't want to pay $200 a month for that. And it was silly because I lost my course. I covered a year of Kajabi in 2 hours,
Oh wow.
Wow.
right? So it's really silly because I tell people not to get that way about tools that are going to make your job easier. I tell people not to get that way. And a lot of people are still having a hard time with understanding that software as a service or software as a subscription is actually a better model. I could definitely tell you as a long-term Photoshop user and Illustrator user, actually, I used to be instructors for both. The program got better when we went to CC. When we went to
Mm-hmm.
Creative Cloud,
Yep.
program got better because it was no longer 3 years between updates. You were getting updates every couple of months.
Right.
And they added so much more to the portfolio. All of those apps that were projects that were hiding in the background, they all just fell out because the it allows the person who's providing the service to know a baseline of every month of what they're going to get. So it makes it easier. So as a course provider or membership provider, when you already know that you're kind of covered, you don't lose your heart in what I got to work on because you know that the lights will be okay, or you know
Mm.
that you got to go to the Piggly Wiggly and bring out a couple bags. And so now you can focus on giving fire, giving heat, providing value to your community. So the way, I guess, the easiest way is that, you know, you want to be the river, and the river don't drink its own water, but sometimes a river needs help from the kin folks to keep it not polluted and flowing. And so this is why you have to have a membership so that you can continue to give the value that you're giving, allow people closer access to you. And that's really what it's all about. They want closer access to you. And so figure out what that is for you. Jump on something lightweight like Samcart, or go all the way in with Kajabi, because what you have is really, really valuable, I swear you'll cover it in less than a month or so. I paid for Kajabi before my trial was up.
Mm.
Mm.
That's a great recommendation right there.
So let's say that of these hundreds and hundreds of options out there, and I still haven't figured out or found what exactly I need, and I decide to develop a membership site from scratch. Would you happen to know how much one would expect to pay a developer to create one for you? Like, what would that entail?
You know, I wouldn't even do that anymore, and here's why. Actually, Squarespace now has memberships, so just watch any YouTube video, any YouTuber, and they will tell you, "Let's talk about Squarespace," and just click their link and then sign up, and you'll be done. A chimpanzee can spit out a Squarespace site in about 15 minutes, so it should take the average human an hour. Like, it is that simple, and I had Squarespace until tomorrow. I've had it since the day they launched. After tomorrow, so Sunday would be the first day since 2007 that I haven't had a Squarespace site, because now
Wow.
Kajabi just took that over. So
So
I would just say get a Squarespace site and run with it. Don't build sites. Nobody cares about your website anymore. That's kind of old, right?
Hmm.
People want to know what you're actually bringing them. So don't spend any seconds building this cute site.
right. So I have a follow up question, another audible that I'm going to throw Grace before your next question. So you talked about your ecosystem or vortex. I'm going to call it that now. What's the biggest way you get people in? Is it through your YouTube channel? Is it through they hear about you in the community? How do you? I almost said funnel. How do you get people inside your ecosystem? I mean, like, is there a certain platform that does the best for you?
Yeah, I think what I'm doing now, and I'm actually changing the strategy, so we're going to find out how it works. I've been using YouTube and IG Reels as my discovery, just by providing value. And the one thing I don't do, and marketing people are going to hate me for this, I don't want to hear this, but Doc will always say what you don't want to hear. Stop selling your stop selling your, just provide the value. And if you just keep doing that, you front load the value every time, people will be like, I want to know more. They will look. You don't have to tell them every 5 seconds. That's old. People are, excuse me, over it. People don't want to see gurus anymore. They want to see normal people. So I try to go on IG and YouTube and give like 3 or 4 for them and then one for me, right? And that way I'm never irritated with just constantly creating. I'm just always sharing all whatever's in my head, showing new products, showing whatever. And then people say, you know what? I really like this guy. He's always giving us the stuff. What else does he do? And then they look at your LinkedIn bio, or they look at your about page, or they just stalk you and they find you and they come. I don't think you got to show up every 5 seconds. Hey, come join my course. Hey, come join my course. Hey, that's just like, come on, like that's old, and it doesn't work for the major brands anymore. So it's definitely not going to work for you. People are just, yeah, marketers. We just have to start marketing different, and I think the way to do that is provide value and to let the people know that you're down for them first. They will come to you. If you don't have that confidence, you probably shouldn't be doing what you're about to do anyway.
Mm. So I want a big shout out. So this is my friend Liz Wilcox says, these are facts. And we've had Liz on the show before. She is amazing. She is an incredible email content creator. She actually changed the way I write emails, and my email subscriptions have gone up. So her course and her membership is amazing. So if you haven't checked her out, make sure you do that.
Liz. We're going to be friends.
Yeah, you'll like Liz a lot, Doc. She is your people.
Yeah.
So, but she has an incredible course and the way she sells and everything. So, and if you'd like to sign up for and see what I'm doing with emails, go over to socialmedianewslive.com and just click on the newsletter sign up button, and you'll get those emails in your inbox because they are kind of fun. Liz has taught me that. So, all right. Sorry, Grace. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to. So we are talking about the how of building a membership site and a course. Talk to us about organizing your information in your courses and membership. You already talked about how you create this cohort and you're learning together, and it's this very hands-on, juicing the onion type experience. Can't believe I just said that, but okay. So talk to us about how you should go about or think about organizing this information and membership so that it provides value and people continue to be encouraged.
So in the beginning, I just opened it first to get the flow going. Once I had, say, more than 50 people in there, they started asking for the way they wanted it set up. So we moved from Facebook because Facebook groups are becoming more and more a challenge. And I know it's a tool that everybody knows. And this was the lie that we were told, that we all believed it, including me, that, well, everybody's on Facebook. Okay, first day of marketing school, Mrs. Noel Baker, my marketing teacher, said, if your customer is everybody, your customer is nobody. And she has never been wrong about that fact. So you don't want to be on Facebook, because when a user comes to Facebook, any person, including you, you're going to check up on friends and family, see when the high school reunion is, argue with your brother-in-law about politics or them Cowboys, right? Go Gator Nation. And no, my brother-in-law, both of them, legit Cowboys fans. I can't stand them too. Anyway, you're going to stalk an ex, you're going to stalk a soon-to-be ex or whatever. You might run into something you want to watch, and then you stay there and you get involved, you get sidetracked. But you go there with no mission. Facebook is the freaking mall. Right. Even when you go to the mall to get new socks, next thing you know, you're down in the Milwaukee section, like, what new tools do they got out today? So I like YouTube because it's, you go to YouTube to watch a video and that's it. So I think that having the mall mentality for Facebook is just a bad place. So I moved it to Discord, and it's been the greatest thing I've ever done. There's Circle, which is cool. There's other stuff out there, Mighty Networks. You can even do it directly in Kajabi and Samcart. But Discord has been the best for me. You guys should definitely talk to Keely, have her on one day.
Yeah.
Discord for creators. She's amazing. She really changed my life. And she's helping us make the Ecamm thing move from Facebook to Discord. We'll always keep the Facebook one open, but Facebook is just kind of a mess. So I wouldn't put it there. And the reason, like Grace just said, the organization of the information on the Facebook wall is next to freaking impossible. Right. If somebody goes to look for a show that you guys did, last year, talking to, say, Eric, I'm going to have a hard time finding that in Facebook. But in Discord, I can just type in Eric Fisher. Bam! There it is. You see him there with that look? It just popped right up.
That's it. That's his look.
Eric. I can find Jim. I can find Chris. I can find them in the heartbeat. But Facebook just doesn't work that way. So I think your audience will tell you, set it how you want to set it. Just put it out there. Don't let that be a blocker for you because you don't feel like it's organized. They will tell you. And if you're afraid for them to tell you, ask them, hey, gang, I'm just putting this out there. It's a mess right now. We'll straighten it out. Once you guys get an idea of what works best for you, I'll make adjustments on the fly. Be vulnerable. Last line, and this is the bite. One of the most frustrating things to me is when people in the community say, "Hey, I want to do this, this, and this because I want to have a professional looking stream." And I get super irritated and I blow smoke out my nose and I say, "Stop trying to look professional, just be professional. The rest of it is
Yeah.
automatic." You can
Yeah.
come in jeans and t-shirt if you're bringing heat. Nobody needs you to be like, "Hi, I'm Velvet Jones. Today I'm going to teach you how to write this new book." Like nobody wants to see that. That's
Yeah.
old. That's over. They want real people.
Preach, brother. All right. So, by the way, I just saw that in Discord, it just rolled out subscriptions. So you can monetize
Yeah.
Discord now. That's a new
Yeah,
thing
you
that
can
just
run
came.
membership in the script now. I think now that I think about it, yeah, you could do that directly. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's really, really cool. So how often, Doc, are you like engaging with the membership with new content or prompts? Like, is it multiple times a day? Is it once a day, once a week? What is your kind of like schedule to go in there and engage?
So we have 2 live streams a week, just because that's how I started. And then on Saturday, we do an hour-long class, or it's actually a get-together of the minds. We do have a topic, but everyone has a shot, and that happens for all 3 levels every Saturday. So I spend 3 hours on the Saturday with them, getting deeper, making sure everybody's moving somewhere, learning something, doing whatever. So that's kind of that. And then when I get something cool or new, like unbox this or unbox that, or take something apart or break something on purpose, embarrass myself,
Hmm.
I'll do those things in the community, and whenever they come to be, and everybody is super stoked with that. You
That's
know,
awesome.
I think everybody thinks it's going to take a lot. You're probably already doing it, but if you
Yeah.
give them a spot where it can just get to you better than a comment in YouTube,
Mm.
it just works. So when I'm in Albany, I spend every single day with Jim because Jim's my homie. You know what I mean? And it's fun to talk to him and Eddie, Wildman Eddie, and that's sort of what it is. It's just no different than if we were going to go to the hotel bar every night till 2 in the morning when we got to give a speech the next morning at 9. Jim.
That's Jim. All right. So, last question. So, okay, so and we kind of covered this a little bit, but I want you to kind of dive in a little deeper. Say you find or create, you've heard the today's show, and you've got the ideal platform for your community. The content is fantastic; it's ready to go, and you even have an initial wait list of people prepared to get started. So now what? How do you promote it? How do you get members to join? How to make it thrive for the long term? You don't want to be a flash in the pan. You're not trying to just take their money, do a 2-week course, and then go. You want a community, you want to grow it. So how do you do that?
And add value. Value.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one is you have to be open to let them dig a root. I think a lot of
Mm.
people, they don't want to be that close to the community, then don't start one. Because the community
Right.
is a little different. If you just want to have a product, by all means, have a product, knock yourself out. When you start a community, you will start to care about them folks and they will start to care about you. It is what it is. That's just how it works, right? When we do something like the monthly Q&A, people show up to the Ken and Glenn monthly Q&A like Ken and Glenn with freaking Simon and Garfunkel.
That's
Like
right.
they come ready. They come ready. There's no more sound of silence in there. They just want to be there. When the guys show up, everybody wants to be there. That's when you know you have a good community. When they solve problems. So oftentimes a moderator is like, "Oh, somebody is getting a little feisty in the community. What should we do?" And we're like, "Okay, let's look." And then when we go back to look at the post, a whole bunch of people have tried to hug that person and slow them down. It's
Mm.
like they
Right.
almost protect us because they are so into the community. And when you have that, everybody is good. Like
Yeah.
we got to hang out, in Texas, but I felt like we've known each other for way longer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's community to me.
Yeah.
Right? And it just comes from talking to each other all the time. You know good and well, if there's some new piece of tech and you don't quite understand, you know what? Let me pop an answer to Doc real quick. So I'll get a green dot. Is Jeff? Hey man, I got a question. No problem. Like I'm happy to give you that information. I feel that we would actually hang out if we lived in the same spot. You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we would argue about whether there should be vinegar or tomato or brown sugar in the barbecue sauce, and be totally cool with that.
Right.
And I
Brown
watched
sugar,
him
by
the
the
other
way.
day whittling something, and
Yeah.
I'm like, me too. I'm with you. I was like, I need to get my knife out. I remember how to do this from Boy Scouts, and Jeff
Yeah.
was like whittling the nutcracker. I'm like, I can do that, not
Yeah.
lose a finger. I want to see more of that. I think you don't have to promote it. I think you just got to do stuff and let people see you doing it. Let people see that you're fallible. Let people see that you're a regular person, and they will want to be with you. I don't think you have to try to like sort of guide them or promote them or whatever. I honestly think if you just keep giving away good stuff, like there's no way, Grace, I'm gonna let you keep making good cornbread without be like, look, man, can I just buy like 5 pans of this cornbread? And you'd be like, oh, I don't really sell it. Well, you're selling it today, sister. Here's $100. Give me my cornbread. It's just how it is. And
Yeah.
we've all been there. We've all been
Yeah.
there before any of these computers ever come out. You've done some stuff, and somebody was like, man, you're so good at this. Can I just pay you?
Yep.
Babysitting, lawn cutting, car washing, like we all did it as teenagers. So you already know the blueprint, and you went to somebody else's course and they cite you out of the normal human being blueprint. So just be a human.
That's great. Well, Doc, once again, this has been a chock full of great information, and I'm gonna have fun making all the little social posts with this one, because it could be the whole show, but I'm gonna have to chop this thing up to death. So anyway, I got work to do, so we have to end the show. But tell everybody where they can find you, your course, everything. Make it really clear for the podcast listeners, because if you don't know or are part of Doc Rock's community, you really need to be in it, because as you can tell, he is amazing.
So I created the course. It's wow, of course, right when you say that, I get stuck.
That's right.
Createbetter.life. I could not believe this domain was open. When I found it, I was like, oh my God, Hercules. Createbetter.life. And then the course is at oh man, I forgot what the heck it was. It's creatorcoach.live. There you go. Creatorcoach.live. There you go. Those are 2.
Awesome. This has been, once again, a great show. Grace, I'll let you have the last word. Thank you, everybody who's watching. Jim and Katie and Mia, all you folks for stopping by. I appreciate you. We wouldn't be able to do the show without you. And Liz, yes. Yeah.
Well, our next show is next week. We're going to have Ryan Coral on. We're going to talk about storytelling through video. He's someone that we've been trying to get on the show for a while, but scheduling and holidays and everything. So we're very excited about that. And it looks like, or sounds like, we need to do a show on Discord, Jeff. So
I know we're going to get her on. I've seen her on Ian's show. She is amazing. So we'll make sure to do that. And thanks once again for everybody who watched the show. Thank you, Doc, for being here. Thank you to our sponsors, Ecamm. And do not forget that this is also a podcast. Head over to your favorite podcast player of choice. Just do a search for Social Media News Live, and we'll come up. We'd love for you to rate and review. That really helps us out. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.